Hey guys, Epsi here with a new series I'm going to be calling More Challenging Strikes. Now, in this series, I'm going to be looking at each strike and then how I want them changed. And this is not just going to be like, oh, let's add some more things here. I want a complete overhaul and adding some more mechanics into them to make them more interesting and fun to play. And more importantly, make them more challenging, because I feel right now that they're just a huge chore and they're really boring, and it's just like, oh, I'm just grinding through this to try to get maybe something good at the end where I just get blue engrams. So I want it to be something fun as opposed to that grind that we normally feel in this game. So today we're going to be talking about Winter's Run and ways we can improve it. And for the most part, this strike is okay. The main problem I have with it is the Horde mode section where you're waiting for your ghost to open the door, and how the entire strike is just unutilized. It seemed like a missed opportunity, and it just doesn't make the Fallen any more scary than they should be. And I feel like the strike should make you scared of the people you're fighting, or just like have them flaunt their power, and I don't feel that here. It's just that everything's kind of a pushover here. So, encounter number 1, we are going into the Winter's Lair tunnels, and the problem I have here is that you can largely ignore or skip this section, and it feels unutilized. For the most part, this beginning bit is pretty okay. You push through the enemy up a spiraling way to the next encounter. Perhaps we could just have a few more tougher ads which give you the players problems, maybe a Baron or that tank, you know, that one's kind of just sitting there not doing anything. Maybe bring that to life and we could fight that in close quarters. I think that'd be fun, but I don't know, we could probably just leave it alone, but just something to make it, or something to encourage the players to interact with this encounter would be nice. Encounter number 2, however, which is in the shadow of the Fallen Catch, is Horde mode, and I hate this part. This part is so monotonous and boring. I think it's 3 waves of enemies, and you have to clear a wave before you can even start Horde mode, so it's 4 waves of Horde mode. And it's just, and we're immediately back to this mediocrity, so just how do we fix this? And I propose press the button and then backtrack. And what do I mean by that? Upon entering the area, the players will find the Vex and Fallen fighting one another, tossing you into the middle as you try to access a door that is directly ahead of you. You push through everything, get to the door, deploy Dinklebot to start probing the door as you would in like the salvage game mechanic that I was talking about. The probe will take at least a minute, and people will try to occasionally disrupt you, but they're more interested in fighting each other right now, so you won't really have a problem. All seems to be going well until Dinklebot tells you he can't penetrate the lair. It is being actively held shut by Fallen within the catch. You know what that means. Fight through the ads onto the catch. Reach the control room, the room where the pseudo 3D panels just before the boss during the Scourge of Winter mission. Yeah, kill everything, just to make sure that whatever's holding the door shut is dead. Return out of the catch, fighting through the now retreating Fallen. The players will now exit the catch and notice that the Vex have won. Vex will spawn in Hydras as well as other ads to immediately intercept the players. The door will open, however, and the players may push through the Vex to their next objective. Now we get to the kind of driving section, which I believe is really, really unutilized. I loved the driving missions in Halo, and I deeply miss them in this game. This area seems like a missed opportunity for that, so let's change it. So what do we need to change? We need to slow down the player advance. The enemy, maybe add the enemies of moving against each other, a Fallen tank versus Vex. I'd like to see something that makes this place a spectacle, something that makes the players want to participate in it or at least watch it. Don't just, like, it can largely be skipped right now. We just ignore it right now. We just blow through it. Even in the Nightfall missions, there's no real reason why we have to stop and clear the ads before we can advance. So those changes are pretty fast and simple for the most part, but now we get to the boss fight where I have lots of changes. And the problem I have here is that it's just Horde mode followed by bullet sponges. So the Fallen Archons are supposed to be the biggest badass of the Fallen apart from the Prime Servitors, and they are, for good reason, the head of Fallen leadership. So why is this fight so boring? The ads are largely can be ignored. The Archon itself is no real threat. All it requires is that the players move to a new defensible position, which there are several. What needs to be done here is we need to make the Archon fucking terrifying. Make it exert its power and authority. We need the players to feel at least a portion of the Fallen's full might, because thus far the Fallen have merely just been a nuisance, no real threat. So, to begin, first and foremost, upon the players entering the arena, a rock slide will prevent their escape, blocking off the safe area that everyone utilizes. This is a point of no return. The players either win or die trying. Until all players enter the area, Fallen and Vex will constantly spawn in at a steady rate. Nothing too big, small mobs, occasionally a Minotaur or Captain, sure. Once all players do enter the arena, things get crazy. Fallen skiffs drop in, heavily reinforcing the Fallen with a Baron. The Vex respawned in kind, reinforcing the area with heavier units and maybe some Hydra. Meanwhile, the players will notice that the small cells around the larger cell holding the Archon will begin to glow one at a time. Once all cells are glowing, the Vex will retreat and the Archon cell will also begin to glow. With a flash, the cell will open and the Archon will step out, taunting the player. As well, it will emit a roar, a horrible noise which disorients the players, impairing vision, accuracy, and movement. The Archon will periodically roar throughout the fight, so be careful. At this point, a heavy guard of gold health captains will be dropped via skiffs to guard the Archon. The guard will remain near the Archon at all times, creating a defensive perimeter. When the Archon teleports, they teleport. Whoever the Archon is attacking, they attack. They will leave the Archon's side only to engage Guardians that get too close or who are causing too much damage, but will quickly teleport back to the Archon's side thereafter. So the Archon's going to move a bit faster than he did before and will immediately teleport to the nearest player if the players get too far away. If the Archon gets too close to a player, it will Nova the immediate area after a brief channel, like before, knocking players well out of range. The Archon is also equipped with a heavy shrapnel cannon, which deals high AoE solar damage. Right now, his weapon doesn't nearly do as much damage as I think it should do. While you're being harassed by the Archon and his guard, there will be small regiments of Fallen spawning in all around you, mainly sniper vandals and tons of shanks, and I mean a ridiculous amount of shanks. The primary threat here is still the Archon and its guard. So, if the players manage to kill the Archon's guard, it will become very upset. A special roar animation will activate and he will begin to move a lot faster, acting more aggressively and recklessly towards the players. Not quite an enrage, but something that the players will have to definitely worry about. Further, if the players manage to kill the Archon before killing the guard will begin to sacrifice their own ether, their health, to restore the Archon. To this, there is a bit of math. So, if none of the guard have been killed, the Archon will be fully restored to full health at the cost of half the health of each guard. The guard will not kill themselves, however, in order to restore the Archon. They will ensure that they have at least a quarter of their health left so that they might be able to retreat if you manage to kill the Archon again. To this, if the guard have taken significant damage, the Archon may not be restored to much health or at all, really. So, if the guard does not have enough health remaining to restore the Archon, or if the guard and Archon are killed, the players have won the fight. No soft enrage here, just a lot of strategy and ways to make the fight more interesting. So the goal here was to make fighting the Archon fun, to make the Fallen seem a bit more powerful than they are now, make them a bit more than scavengers, and maybe play into a bit of the lore, maybe, and just some of my ideas as to how the Fallen actually work. I was really upset when we met the Archon in the Cosmodrome, and then we met another Archon in the Cosmodrome as part of a patrol mission, and then we also killed Sepix Prime, and it just didn't seem like they were these big powerful things. I mean, the Servitors are supposed to be gods, and the Archons are supposed to be the divine priests or disciples of these gods, and I don't feel that at all, and I want that to kind of come across. I know that the Fallen aren't really... They rely on technology a lot, seeing as their bodies have been destroyed. Their souls are contained within basically a bag, which is sustained by Aether, and I think that's really cool about them, and I wanted to play into that a bit. So, what do you guys think of these changes, or what are your ideas for making this strike a bit harder? Especially some things that I had no idea to do with, like this one was a bit tough for me. So, please leave your comments down below, and if you liked the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I've been Epsy, and I will see you next time.